Katie's off the podcast.
Yeah.
Uh, Fear is coming up for air. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer. Also, the fish are really biting.
I like that one.
It's okay taglines. Honestly, probably better than most of the sci-fi ones we've done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but are the
Uh,
movies better?
this is up there with probably one of the better ones. I feel like from that like early sci-fi period.
Oh yeah, I got to agree.
This is episode 290 of I Hope You Suffer. Snakehead, I guess. I'm Lori Dale.
I'm old dead guy who had his legs chewed off in the cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's what it is credited as, but it should have been.
I'm just a head floating in the lake that a snakehead volleyball punches into the sky.
God, what a dream. We're gonna talk about 2004's Snakehead Terror.
Yeah,
Back when sci-fi was doing good stuff.
so long ago.
Pre
20 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh
Back
no.
in my
20-year
day.
anniversary of
Shut your
Snakehead
mouth.
Terror.
I hate that so much.
Same.
Can we talk about one of the bands apparently that has a song in this? Has a song called "Lick It" by Jazzberry
Oh.
Ram.
It's incredible. It's the in-credit song, and I stuck around through the credits
Oh.
for it.
Is it the one that immediately starts playing? Because I was
No.
okay, I
That
was
song plays for like 20 seconds, and then it goes into Lick It.
like, dang, I missed it. I just was like, reggae is an interesting choice. Immediately turn off the TV.
Incredible.
What a sick name, Jazzberry Ram. It looks like all of the other songs are from a band called Feeding Like Butterflies.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
what the fuck?
Both bands only have one movie credit, which is this.
Perfect.
I'm Googling Jazzberry Ram.
Yeah.
I need to know more.
Spotify, your number one Spotify
Yep.
artist next year is gonna be like, you listen to "Lick It" by Jazzberry Ram
Good.
2,000 times this year.
I can already imagine what that song is gonna sound like.
There's ska. That song didn't sound like ska, but
I'm in. I'm assuming. I was gonna say I assume they sound like unmakeup Kiss, but I'll take ska over Kiss any day.
That's hard for me.
I don't know. I saw Kiss is maybe still like the worst live band I've ever seen.
I don't have
That makes
any affection towards Kiss, but I sometimes ska really grates on me. I'm like, chill out, you know?
Old ska, I'm totally fine with.
Sure.
I joke all the time with Caitlin that I love Real Big Fish.
Bull.
Like anytime
Skankin'.
we'll like have some argument about what we're gonna listen to in the car. I'm like, I'll put something on, and I always put on like this shitty Real Big Fish like Christmas covers album.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare.
It's so bad.
Oh my gosh. Mighty, what is it? The Boss Tones?
Yeah.
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
They used to be
I
my
think-
joke go-to until
Someday.
their fucking singer
I
came out like as a
think-
weird anti-vax lunatic.
That doesn't surprise me. Anything
No, not at all.
anything that has like a tuba or whatever the fuck in it, I'm like, please leave.
It's bad news.
Katie's ska bands don't have tubas.
Whatever
You're
the
thinking marching
brass
bands.
instrument is, you're thinking. No, Kit knows what I'm talking about.
You mean a trombone?
It's a
Yes,
tuba
yes.
vibe.
It is tuba vibe.
You can't
I had
you can't skank around with a giant ass tuba.
I
I
think
bet
you
someone could.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
you
like
could.
fucking The Rock, maybe somebody like
Definitely.
fucking massive.
Yeah.
I had
Um.
a coworker made us listen to Aquabats
Oh,
like
Oh,
last week, and I've never heard of them, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? What are you
yeah.
doing right now?"
Aquabats
And
are
he's
at
like, "You don't
least
like
like
Aquabats? No, what?
fun.
What is this?"
Like they had like a kids TV show for a little bit.
I was gonna say, isn't that for kids? But
Well, they
yeah,
they were like a real band, like
sure.
for a while, and then got like a TV show during that sort of Yo Gabba Gabba
Oh my God.
kind of like the like when
Yeah.
like all those channels were giving like just doing like weird ass kids TV shows,
Yeah.
and I remember they had one, but yeah, this is the ska episode somehow.
I
Um,
I feel like we're always somehow on the precipice of a ska episode, if I'm
God,
honest.
fucking, that's my dream.
we're always dangerously
I'm
close.
gonna find a ska horror movie for us to cover.
Yikes.
The scappening.
It'll just be like
The ska thing.
it'll be like a like sorority slasher movie, but it's just like a ska band in the sorority. Sorority.
Sorority.
All right. Paul Ziller, who directed The Snakehead Terror, has some real fucking banger movies.
Let's hear it.
There's a movie just Yeti, Curse of the Snow Demon,
Great.
Oh yeah,
2008,
I've seen
a
that.
banger. Sea Beast from 2008, which
Seen it.
pretty much just
Also a
kind
banger.
of looks like what this movie is.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
just like
cover.
it's one weird sea creature. It's all like kind of hunchy and slimy.
Stonehenge.
I'm pretty sure it's filmed in the same place.
Stonehenge Apocalypse.
Ooh.
Beyond
Haven't
Loch
seen that one.
Ness.
Have seen.
There's a fuck ton of Christmas movies, of course.
Real,
the fuck?
like,
Swarmed, Icequake,
Snakehead Christmas.
Ghost Storm. Ghost Storm I added to my watch list because we're covering this shit the minute it shows up on streaming.
Hell yeah.
An action-packed chase led by Hal and Ashley to save the people of the small island from a strange electrical storm, which is led by angry souls from a mass suicide looking for revenge.
oh no. Revenge on what?
I don't know.
What? What? I don't understand.
There's a Panic in the Skies, a fucking, I'm assuming, airplane hijack movie. Yeah, he somehow made a Billy Blank's Roddy Piper movie called
What?
Back in Action.
Hmm.
That is not streaming anywhere, but I'm watching the minute it is. Honestly, I give it like 3 months. This is probably one of like the Vinegar Syndrome archive releases that'll come out, so they seem to release all of the Billy Blank stuff.
That'd be fantastic.
Katie, there's a Christmas movie on here that looks like it might be about an alpaca.
Oh.
We wish you a married Christmas.
Hmm.
It ain't over till the alpaca sings jingle bells.
I'm very confused.
I'm in. It's got a three-star rating. People seem to like it,
All right.
so you'll have to check in next year.
Okay, we'll do.
What about Maple Valley Christmas? Have you seen that one?
I don't think so.
This is fucking God. All these Christmas movie posters look exactly the same.
And it's also almost impossible to know. They always have like the generic,
Right.
like, yeah, Maple Valley,
Good Morning Christmas.
Honeycrest Christmas, yeah, Maple
Pic-
Lane,
picture-
Starlight,
Picture a Perfect Christmas.
yeah,
Dickie's Holiday.
yep, classic
Jingle
Dickie.
Around the Clock. Inventing the Christmas Prince. A Godwink Christmas Meant for Love.
Like,
Love at the Slopes. Love in Store.
love it.
Roadhouse Romance. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I assume Patrick
Unofficial
Swayze's in it.
spinoff.
Oh no, he's got a movie called Ball. I wonder if this is going to be like a weird QAnon thing. Oh no, it's 2008. Oh.
My favorite so far is Snakehead Christmas.
I honestly just
Should make it. Come
combine
on.
your filmographies and just make Snakehead Terror Christmas movie.
I know. I don't understand the problem
A
here.
big Christmas party on the lake, and all of a sudden, that real giant one from the end is just alive still.
It's just fucking Jaws, but it's a Christmas party on the lake for some reason.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be frozen. Like,
The
everyone's out there.
the jingle jangle jamboree needs to go on without a hitch, or else our whole town is starving to death.
Yeah.
I can't.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I guess they kind of did with Santa Jaws, but like, I'm shocked there hasn't been more like Christmas and sci-fi horror movie.
I
Oh,
know.
I guess let our Satan Claus too. So there's two, but
Santa Jaws and
That's
Letters
pretty
to
good,
Satan
too.
Claus.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's two very good ones.
I was gonna say they're both good, so maybe we don't need a bunch of them.
I'm just shocked there's not like more.
Mhm.
Even if it's not like sci-fi, I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been at least like the way like the minute like Winnie the Pooh and shit became public domain, all of a sudden there's like fucking 12 Winnie the Pooh horror movies announced. Like, I'm shocked someone hasn't just done like the straight up.
Yeah, that and like recently, Steamboat Willie, like the
Yeah.
Mickey
Yeah,
cartoon,
thank you.
like went into public domain, and then within hours it was like, oh, here's a Steamboat Willie
Oh yeah, there
horror
were
movie.
people that like were like, we already filmed it.
Like, come on,
Yeah, great.
what even is that?
I don't know, that Winnie the Pooh one looked like dog shit, so.
Yeah,
And everybody went to the theater to see it, and then immediately was like, this was terrible. And I'm like, yeah, I could have told you that
shocker.
if you just listened to this dumb podcast.
Or had any sense about you?
Like,
You know?
it's one of
Like,
those.
it's clearly gonna be terrible.
It's one of those things where,
Look
like,
at it.
I understand people just getting excited for these, like, movies or
New
whatever, but, like,
properties.
shit like that, I'm just like, come on, this is 100% just...
The cheapest,
like-
most brainless way to try
Yeah.
and cash in on that.
You're gonna, like, it's the same way, like, people, like, you know, we do it too sometimes, but we also watch a lot of them, so I feel like we get the opportunity. But the way everyone's just kind of like, oh, all these shitty, like, CGI shark movies, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's just, like, easy money for these people that are making them, because everyone still watches them. It's the same way that just all you need is that dumb gimmick of, Winnie the Pooh's in public domain, here you go.
Put
Here's
some effort into it, like Tommy
somebody,
Wiseau.
yeah, for real. Something like, just do more than just like a shitty, like, mask you got at whatever that Halloween store is.
Spirit.
Spirit, yeah. I don't know why that wasn't coming to me. All right, Snakehead Terror. That's a banger. I like the entire time I was watching, all I could think was like, I miss when like sci-fi was like were making like, you know, cheap horror movies, but like unintentionally kind of goofy, where you could tell they were like this is actually gonna be scary, and then you like watch it and it's just like fun, goofy, as opposed to you know how they like post Sharknado when they're just like goofy
Yeah.
on purpose.
It was like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, they weren't winking at you the whole time. Like, they knew it wasn't going to be good, but it tried. You know?
Yeah,
It was trying to be a movie, and it wasn't just like, look at the funny words we've thrown together. What a concept we have. We're not going to put any effort into anything else.
I think I always think in terms of like Alien Apocalypse, that like Bruce Campbell movie with whoever the sidekick was on Xena as like the second lead, where like it's blatantly like a very stupid, goofy idea, but like everyone making it is like taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like this, there was, I forget what the last one we did. Maybe it was not Mosquito Man. What's the Jeffrey Combs shark movie?
Hammerhead Shark
Hammer,
Man
yeah.
/ Sharkman.
Yeah, we're like,
Shockman.
it's like,
What a film.
it's just like a very dumb idea that they're taking very seriously while making it.
Yeah.
Especially when you get like Jeffrey Combs in there, who's like, no matter what, is just like seems like he's doing like Lance Hendrickson method acting and like taking everything deadly serious in the movie.
That man cared about his shark son.
Literally, he really did.
I don't blame him.
They're
His
like,
shark son
they're
seemed
like,
very cool.
Jeffrey, listen, this isn't that serious. Just like roll in there with your mustache, do a few lines, and he's like, absolutely not. This is. I've never cared about anything. He's never cared about anything more than whatever he's doing at the moment he's doing it, and I really appreciate that.
Hammerhead.
Like got a knife to the director's throat. Like, you think this is a fucking game?
That was my son.
We're making a new Citizen Kane here.
I respect it.
Katie, what'd you think?
That's okay. I
will say the teenagers in it, the worst.
Yeah, I think that my problem is something that we've talked about literally countless amounts of times, where the plot is just literally every aquatic situation where there's something in the water killing people and the mayor refuses to believe it and is like, we can't close this lake or our town will dry up or whatever the fuck. And so in that aspect, I was like, okay, I'm like bored a little bit. There were some very shocking things that happened. Like, there wasn't, like, there were things that I was not expecting. Like I said, the severed, like, there's a lot of body parts, which I wasn't expecting. And like some of the gore was like pretty good. I wasn't expecting there to be really any. So you get like a few pretty good, like, scenes where I just was like, oh my goodness. Oh, like a head.
The shotgunning's fantastic. Anytime someone shoots a snakehead.
I do like, oh, I mean, and actually, to be fair, I said it's the same old boring plot. It does have a little bit of a twist to it, which I appreciated, because like we've done so many mutated aquatic creature movies at this point that like sometimes the degrees vary drastically between whether something is conceivable or no, and I felt the situation was like conceivable totally.
Well, it is a thing where it's like all of these movies are basically just doing Jaws,
right?
Like,
yeah, Jaws perfected the whole formula,
yeah,
the plot, everything, fucking 50 years ago.
It's an extremely easy thing to just be like, well, we'll do Jaws, but it'll be like
copy and paste
this lake with like a bunch of fucked up mutated fish. And like every time I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, good enough.
Yeah.
That's a good enough reason to throw a bunch of mutated piranha out there.
Have a bunch of fucking weird fish attacking a boat, I'm in. But it also does that thing, like this one does that thing where like the first 35 minutes of setup for these characters that you don't really care about is kind of boring.
Yes.
Like they get to, but once the like teenagers go out on the lake to like get revenge, it's like the movie just like goes off the rails in like the best way.
Yeah.
When the snakeheads start snakeheading.
Yeah, you know it's a problem.
I blurted out laughing, like when the teenagers run across those two dudes that are like fishing that have like this giant snakehead like attached to the front of their boat. And like all of a sudden they both start getting attacked, and the one girl goes to like shoot and shoots their like gas tank and explodes their boat.
This was like another one of those movies where people just do the dumbest shit and it keeps just like escalating, like, and like, yeah, insane.
That was the most realistic like way that situation would have played out, because it would have been like everyone panicking, and then a snakehead gets up in the boat and someone fires a gun and hits the fucking gas tank and blows it up and kills everyone else, and then they just sit there and die and crash the boat into the land. Like,
yeah, could you imagine
that's what would happen?
Like a very serious like creature hunter, and then some fucking like blonde kid well, it wasn't the blonde girl, but like a teenager like almost like crashes into you and
boat.
Then literally it blows up your boat and kills you, like, and they don't even they don't even like acknowledge the fact that that happened. They're just like, let's get to the island. And I was like, you just murdered somebody. Someone's
Katie,
dad is dead. What?
why you sending me sexy Carlisle memes
That's why I was laughing
with
a
his
minute ago.
weird fucking shaped head?
Okay, but the other one I sent you is the one I was laughing at.
Yeah, but that's just what the movie should have been.
I sent a
Kit,
meme.
I had to watch all the fucking Twilight movies, and it's been a fucking
We
brutal.
haven't
Fuck that.
I had a
That's too
brutal
much.
8 hours because I just burned through them basically in a row.
we haven't talked about it yet, but
Yeah.
I sent him a meme of Carlisle, and it says DILF, but it stands for Devoted, Involved, Loving Father.
I'm so proud of yourself.
The other one's not loading, but I can't. It's so funny. That's what I
Stupid,
created.
sexy Carlisle.
I know.
His fucking head shape, and then like the kind of like, I don't know, his head shape, and then Kate, his wife's forehead, really
Yeah.
upsetting to me.
Very kind of like uncanny valley. I
Yeah,
literally
they didn't
just saw
look like
this.
real people.
No. They well, I can't. We can't get into for that's a different episode. You have
That's
to
a-
subscribe to
It's
our
a whole other
Patreon.
episode.
Patreon, you
Listen
could hear
to
me
us.
scream at Katie.
Talking about the rest of Twilight. I actually did meant to mention we don't like at the end of every episode, or we'll be like, hey, we did this for Patreon. I meant to like follow that background to be like talk about our Patreon more because we actually do a lot of stuff on it. And obviously Twilight is not normal of a thing to do, but we are doing an episode on Twilight, but
Yeah,
Honestly, Twilight's probably the most normal thing we've done on
Honestly,
Patreon. Depends
I
on
mean,
where you're viewing it from.
we've done like every once in a while, especially when like there's like not, we'll be like, well, instead of a vote, we're just gonna like pick something where we did like that one of like 3 classics that we hadn't seen or whatever.
yeah.
Those were all good.
Yeah,
It's
so-
usually like, especially when it's like we each would like pick one for triple feature. There'd be like one good movie, and then 2 of us would pick some weird
Garbage.
insanity.
I was gonna say like
Guess which two?
the
It rotated
me and
a lot,
Nathan.
honestly. I feel like the Patreon ones, you would end up picking something good, and then I'd be like, it'd be like, I don't know, Danny DeVito, like Katie would pick Batman Returns. You would pick like, I don't know, Twins or something, and I'm like, where's some dog shit at the bottom of his filmography? Like when we did
That-
Jean-Claude Van Damme,
I was
I
gonna
was just
say-
like, some weird alien movie pops in for like 20 seconds.
there were a lot I feel that we did that the person that we focused like that the theme was the person was in it for like a 5 minutes and we were like, well, that was a
Yeah,
bad
like all
time.
of the, and like the Lance Henriksen one.
Yeah, I felt like Keenan maybe was one of those too. But
No,
anyways,
that's again another one where I was like, we're doing Master of Disguise, where he was in it for like
oh, that was
literally like 8 seconds.
and that one was like really excruciating too. No, but normally like every
I
month
don't know.
we'll
We got to talk
do
about Dana Carvey wearing the turtle outfit on 9/11,
yeah,
That's true.
having
Again,
to stand
unfortunate.
around in the turtle costume while they all parade.
Normally every month we'll do a bonus episode that usually people who are part of our Patreon can vote on. And we've changed it a little bit because like we were doing 3 movies where you would pick a theme and then we would each pick a movie for the theme, but that is so long. So
Well,
then
it
we
worked better
changed
when Kit and
it.
I had more, or like our schedules worked better to where we could actually watch 4 movies for.
Yeah.
Right?
a week.
But so and like obviously sometimes we picked really terrible movies, like worse movies than we do on the main feed. Sometimes it just happens. But normally we do tend to pick like good movies or movies we perceive that are good. So if you're wanting us to talk about stuff that we actually are passionate about, like that Danny DeVito episode you're talking about, I think like obviously you can go in and then
The one I think
Nate-
about recently is that, well, like as much as you didn't necessarily like the what the fuck was that Nick Cage movie called? The Werner Herzog
Oh.
directed.
Vice
Oh,
Protocol.
Bad Lieutenant.
Yeah, Bad Lieutenant.
Bad Lieutenant.
Vice Principal.
But like
Yeah.
we did
Two.
that. It was that and Mandy and Pig, which like
Yes.
at least I know for me and Kit, we're like
That's
these are
our-
all fucking perfect.
That's our strongest lineup of actual quality films
And
we've
completely
ever done, I
accident.
think.
So close. But then
I was
but
like,
then
I'm thinking about
obviously-
picking Pig, and Katie was like, that's weird. I was gonna do Mandy, and I was like, well, Kit, you know what you gotta do now.
Yeah. And like sometimes because of the way that we are, we do things like watch Little Nicky instead of
Because of
something
our brain
actually
problems.
good. Listen, we're not perfect, okay? I know it seems that way. But then we also do other like random, it depends on the month, obviously, but a lot of times during like Halloween, Nathan and I will do like 1 or 2 bonus episodes every month. So we do a lot of superhero ones if like superheroes are your thing, but then we do other random ones like one of the ones I was thinking of, I was like, if you wanted to listen to us talking about something, well, at least me, very much so, that I am passionate about is like we did a whole episode on Are You Afraid of the Dark, like the TV series. I watched the new ones and we kind of talked about that. And so it's like the Patreon is kind of more for like obviously still dumb shit, but like things we can talk about.
Look, that's the only place you're
That
gonna
are
get to
good.
hear us spend 5 hours talking about the entire Alien franchise that Katie watched for the first time.
Yeah, that was good.
Also,
so yeah.
just to tease people a little bit, you might get to hear us talk about Ticks from 1993
Oh.
Hell yeah.
because that's
God.
currently sitting at 100% of the votes.
Fuck yeah. What
I
a
can't
perfect
fucking
film.
wait to talk about Alfonso Ribeiro playing a gangster.
I don't even remember what my other choices were.
Slugs
Just that they were
in the
bugs.
nest.
Oh, they were
Oh
all
man,
bugs, yeah.
I want to talk about all of those to be honest, but I think
I mean-
Ticks is my favorite out of that.
Ticks, I feel like, is a perfect option out of those 3 for like a bonus
Seth
episode.
Green?
And then like
Seth
the
Green
other
is a troubled youth.
the other, especially Slugs,
When isn't
is like
he?
Slugs is a real main feed episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I literally just got the Ticks like 4K from Vinegar Syndrome last month, so I'm fucking.
I
I'm
bought
so
that as
ready.
soon as it went up. I was
I-
like, I've been waiting my whole life for this.
I forget why I didn't, and then almost like every sale, I was like, I should grab Ticks, and then I would forget about it because it's now so far down in their like
Yeah,
roster that I
library.
never make it to it. And then like during the subscriber week sale stuff, I think it was one of the ones where I had like enough points. I was like, fuck it, getting Ticks.
Hell yeah.
Not I'm getting Ticks the fun way.
Yeah. Not the dog.
Um,
Oh yeah, you're gonna be real bummed out, Katie.
Yeah,
I mean, the movie legitimately rocks, but the Ticks are fucking pretty gross. They do like
They're so gross. They
Incredible.
squish real good though.
yeah.
I
Also, I was real
Love-
proud of my little like sub thing on the Patreon one that just says "Kit kills bugs good, man."
wow. Yeah, unsurprisingly, not a fan of ticks. I will say.
I
How do you
think
feel about slugs?
I honestly
or
I feel like
cockroaches?
you'll like the movie, but like
Yeah.
it's definitely like I remember I watched it probably whatever Vinegar Syndrome Restoration came out because I hadn't seen it before, and then like it hit Tubi or fucking whatever after Vinegar Syndrome released it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking it's so good. Just enough to see the actor that plays Carlton having to play like a tough guy like Thug is insane.
To answer your question, Kit, I don't mind slugs, and also I live in Florida, so I'm very used to cockroaches. So ticks are definitely out of all of those the things I would hate the most.
I mean,
So-
out of those 3, ticks are like an actual problem when you have one.
Yeah.
Well,
a real,
like you can get
real
Lyme
threat.
disease. Like if it was slugs, like what? Who cares? If it were leeches, maybe different. But just straight
like
slugs. I don't-
slugs. You just set like a tub of Miller Lite out for them, and they all go in it and die. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Or Baja Blast.
Yeah,
because
just don't
speaking
use any of
of,
that woke Bud Light.
yeah, definitely not. I want this Baja Blast pie so bad, and then I also saw
God.
that they
It
have.
looks so gross.
It's just
It
such
looks-
an upsetting color.
It looks like that. You guys have seen just the regular Mountain Dew one, right? I will admit the texture looks questionable to me, but I've eaten. This is like essentially just like I mean, it is just like pie. It could be any flavor, and they still look like that. Like key lime pie, I love, and it looks essentially like that. I did also see that they had like Baja Blast sprinkle topping for the Cinna Twists. Very interested.
Oh, all right. I'm
Yeah.
curious about that.
Taco
I love their
Bell's
Cinna
doing
twists.
too
I would
much.
try the pie, but my problem is that like I don't know. Taco Bell has gotten a little expensive, which like everything has. But I remember like was it last
Sucks.
year?
Like, what the fuck?
No, there's like no. Okay, I can't. But like, was it last year that the taco pizza, the Mexican pizza came back, and it was like we were like, oh my god, yeah, let's just go. Like, we'll go get one, and it was like $10, and I was like, this is tiny for
Those
$10.
Fucking stupid ass. That Taco Bell makes me so mad because they keep introducing like vegan options and then just being like, all right, they're gone now.
Yeah, our Panda Express here, I don't often frequent Panda Express, but the ones around here were the ones testing the like vegan orange chicken.
I think they all have those now.
They don't at all, they're gone. They had them like for like the first 2 years that we moved here, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just out right now." And they just like discontinued them and they're gone. And I was like, "Very cool. Great. Love it."
Because I know we had like tried the that orange chicken when it came out. It was not great, but like it's one of those things where like it was a nice like option when you're just like, oh well, like there's a Panda Express in like most malls, so if we're ever somewhere, we're just like, well,
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you like whatever. Um,
I don't know why we're talking about that. Baja Blast pie.
I don't know. It's been like half an hour. This is like probably the longest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been like 40 minutes. This is probably the longest intro ever.
Yeah. We haven't touched on the movie like at all.
Also, here you go. If you're interested in joining our Patreon, this is what most of like I feel we get off task frequently,
Yeah.
but I feel
Everyone
like
just talks about Baja Blast on the
the
Patreon.
bonus episodes are even more so. So if you would rather just listen to us talk about literally nothing, you can pay us for that.
Yeah, you pay money to hear us talk about nothing.
I mean, it seems like a good trade-off to me.
I think we're pretty good at talking about nothing.
I think so too.
You could just listen to me a lot of the time just being mad about whatever movie Katie picked.
Yeah, Nathan,
Like
Needs to
making me watch fucking Little Nicky.
listen, that I will admit was a mistake on my part. But maybe if we had another Patreon person, they could have voted, and then it wouldn't have been even, and I wouldn't have had to pick, and we could have watched Dogma or whatever else I had picked. So
Constantine.
really?
Everyone picked the worst of the three.
I love Constantine.
That
I think
movie
it's
rocks.
legitimately good. But yeah, so actually that's whoever's fault it is that didn't become a
Dylan.
Patreon member.
I blame Dylan.
Probably.
Anyway.
Probably. Thanks a lot, Dylan. Okay.
Snakehead Terror.
Yep, here we go.
Talking about what I'm still baffled this movie wasn't about snakes. These damn
They got
snakeheads on the
snake
plane.
heads.
Yeah, I mean I figured it was gonna be a fish, but
Because the kid has talked about it pretty much since we started the podcast, and I've always just assumed it was like a snake movie.
well,
And then when he like finally picked it, I was like looking at it, I was like, "Wait, this is fish."
What the fuck?
well, the whole thing, like, the thing is that, like, okay, well, they're obviously, like, overgrown and, like, fucking huge in this movie. But I think, like, legitimately, when they appear in the wild, it is because
They're a real problem.
they resemble snakes, and so people don't actually know. So, like, I feel like, that it's a fish and not a snake. So I feel like that's, like, a fine assumption. I mean, it is called snakehead. A snakehead, but
I need
Yeah.
one of those Snakehead Terror shirts the guy's selling.
I literally, where can we get them?
Everyone else,
How did
how are people bootlegging all these fucking shirts but not
I know,
Not
and
that.
I want to know at this point in the movie when the shirt shows up, how did they get that picture of the snakehead?
Well, because it happened before. I think that dude has had those shirts since the first time this
He's
happened,
like just waiting for it to come back
Yeah,
around.
and that's why, spoiler, he's the
hang
one
on to him.
dumping all that shit into the lake.
Was that him wearing it or he was selling
He
them,
was the
you
one
mean?
selling them.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I mean, fair. Listen, got to do what you got. Support small businesses, okay? He was
Amen.
stimulating the economy.
The
Okay.
snakehead economy.
Yep, that's right. Exactly. They are thriving, living their best lives. Okay, so this movie starts with an underwater shot, of course. Duh. And news reports about snakehead fish, who they live in lakes and they have no natural predators in lakes, but also they're very hungry. So essentially what's happening is that they're destroying the environment ecosystem because they're eating everything, but nothing's killing them, eating them. And they're, repopulating very fast. So basically this lake had like a literal, like, I am losing my words. They had a they had a problem.
Katie,
A
are you
real
all right? Are you having an attack?
problemo. I'm not. I'm learning. I feel I did this to myself. I feel insane because I'm doing Duolingo for Spanish and Japanese, which I took both of them, like one in high school and one in college. So I have like, base level. So, but I'm doing that every day. And then I just started doing ASL and I feel insane. Like I'm losing my words.
Yeah, it always seemed like it would be like so much to like learn. At least for me.
Yeah, I'm like, why did I do this? But then it is also one of those things where I'm like motivated, so I should just do it. But I do feel very burned out a little bit. Too many words are rattling around my head that have nothing to do with anything that you talk about in real life. Usually, that's just like the way they teach you, So maybe if they formed the sentences around like snakehead terrors and lakes, like it would be easier.
Yeah, you want me to
But
learn another language, you better be talking about Snakehead Terror.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
do that. I'm gonna create a language learning tool that's just like
Learn Spanish
based
through
on
sci-fi
snakeheads.
movies.
exactly, yeah. Actually, I should start doing that, like watching it, and then
Yeah, do all your notes in Spanish.
okay,
Yeah.
will do.
I'm sure that'll
It
go
it
well
will
once
not
we
take
start
me
recording.
5 days. Okay, so anyways, there's a real prob that this town is having with the snakeheads. They take over or whatever. Then all of a sudden it says 2 years later, and I was like, oh, okie dokie.
It takes time to
There,
take over a city.
yeah. There's a hunter who is with his dog that is named Hunter, which I found very funny. His name is not Hunter, though. I don't even remember what it was. Who cares? But they basically are, going through the woods and they find, oh, I'm going to say for this movie, like trigger warning for animal death and descriptions thereof. So
Is it just the dog?
well,
I think so.
they
At the
immediately find a dead, mutilated bear, and they show it for kind of a long time. Then we get sort of like the dog's like sniffing around, and the hunter is like, okay, this is probably not great. And you get like a glimpse of like something rattling in the bushes, and the dog hunter chases after it, goes into the lake, and is eaten. I wrote a sad face. Then the man wades into the water after the dog, and he's also eaten, which honestly I didn't care about. But so now we're introduced to like half of our main character group, which is a teenager named Amber. Her and her boyfriend are having this conversation about how like they're very obviously leaning towards this trope of like her dad doesn't care for the boyfriend. And the boyfriend's like, oh, I'm going to take you to France, baby. Go tell your dad. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna. And she's like going to his work which he is the chief of police for this town. And I'm like, you could probably like just wait till you get home. You don't gotta go to the office, you know?
I
So
this fucking this actress that plays Amber is rough.
yeah, I thought all of the scenes with like the group of kids was pretty annoying.
She's apparently in the It miniseries, but I don't know who she's
Huh.
playing in it.
I don't think that's real.
I wonder if she was like maybe like the little girl at the beginning.
Oh, the old TV miniseries. So you're
Yeah.
talking about the new one that they're doing, and I was like, what?
Oh no, she's in like the good one.
Yeah,
It's
I don't.
how is she in Carrie? How the fuck old is this girl?
I know because I'm like this movie came out in 2004, and she doesn't seem to be like 40.
As
So
I'm trying to find her credit on
I did think,
it, but there's so many fucking people in it. Lori
yeah,
Ann Winterbarger? I don't know who that is. I think she's like one of the little girls in it. She has to be, because then there's like a mom as well.
mm, well, well,
But she's in that. She's
um,
in Carrie, the Doctor Doolittle 3. Good Luck Chuck with old fucking Dane Cook.
weird.
Yeah, and some more Christmas movies from Hallmark and Lifetime.
That tracks.
Have Katie, have you seen Operation Christmas
I feel
with
like actually yes.
a guy that looks exactly like if Nick Lachey and Jeremy Renner were morphed
Yeah,
together?
yeah, I've definitely seen that.
All right, we're not getting
Um,
down that hole again.
no. So her dad, who I just called Chief, I have no idea what his name was, but he's the chief of police.
Old Sheriff
He's
Patrick James.
Patrick is concerned about how it's supposed to be the biggest fishing weekend of the year, and not that many people have signed up to go fishing. So
Weird
then
how
he gets,
all this shit constantly keeps happening during the biggest fishing weekend of the year.
yeah,
In
that's
every
the only
town.
time. Yep. Then a call comes in about the man. Well, they basically just say like there's a body that's been found, and he's like, "What kind of body?" And then they're like,
A dead
"A
one.
dead one." And I was like, hmm. But when they arrive, it's not the hunter; it is Hunter the dog, which is sad. And then like so it's like very obvious that this is like a small town, and like the other like sheriffs and deputies and whatever, the cops like don't really know how to process a crime scene. But they're like riveting it off or whatever, and I was like, I'm sorry, you can very clearly see something floating in the water, and they've been there for like I don't know how long, and they haven't noticed. But of course, as soon as the chief of police shows up, he's like, what is this? And the guy's like, oh, it's a dog. It's whoever's dog. And he's like, okay, like what? And he's like, well, something obviously killed it. It's like a crime scene or whatever. And he's basically just like, these fucking guys. But he sees the thing in the water, which again, you can see in the background of the scene the entire time. And I was like, hello? So the police chief goes out into the water and pulls it up, and it's a vest of the guy that was hunting. And he's just like, that's weird. And then his body comes floating up out of the lake, which was, again, I wasn't it's like first his like arm, his like gross arms like out of the water, and I was taken aback because I wasn't expecting to see, again, like I said, any gore really. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty good. Okay. Amber and her friend and her boyfriend go to a rager at the lake. This is like one of those movies too where like they basically have like a few different areas that they can like film in or whatever, and they reuse it because the kids show up to this like kegger on the lake or whatever, and it's literally the same area where the crime scene just was, and I was like, okay. Anyways, the teenagers are all very annoying.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's what
and
teens do.
Yeah,
that
fair.
They annoy.
do,
They pester.
they do being annoying. Okay, so one of the friends who I called Harpoon, I don't, because of what happens later, but basically Amber's boyfriend and Harpoon are gonna do a swim race for some reason. I don't know. So they're out on a raft,
Yeah,
and
you know how teenagers be doing when there's a bunch of alcohol around.
let's go race in the water. I just like I don't know. I do not understand. So they start swimming towards the shore, and pretty much immediately the snakehead fish swarm the boyfriend, and they get him. He's gone.
Yeah.
Harpoon is totally fine though. He's able to make it to shore, and they're just kind of like, So they're, upset, of course, because their friend has been eaten, question mark. They don't actually know what's happening. The chief shows up and is like comforting Amber's like, I'm sorry about this. Like, what happened? And they all just like shrug. And I'm like, okay. So then he goes to the coroner, and the coroner is saying like he can't really tell what happened, but it's some kind of mauling. And they're talking about the possibility that maybe somebody released their pet gator into the lake, and the gator is what is eating and mauling people. Okay. I'm actually like also not sure where they are, but it's definitely like a mountain town. So
it's a very like, I don't know, like the setting of this lake it's like, I don't know, weird.
Yeah, and also like I very much understand that the idea of somebody gifting their child some kind of like predatory animal as a baby form of it, and then them releasing it into the wild and into the sewer systems or whatever is definitely just like an urban legend. But like, how do you think that's going to go for you? Like, why would you ever purchase a baby alligator and be like, here you go? Because like, how would you think it's not going to grow up? You know what I mean?
They
like,
get large.
They get very large and like pretty fast. So I don't really understand how.
They require a lot of meat.
I don't know. I also feel like don't buy your kids weird pets. Like, it's about to be Easter and people will buy chicks like for their kids for Easter or whatever. And I'm like, don't do that.
God, now I gotta fucking return your gift exchange.
I legitimately want chickens, but to
I got you an alligator
and nurture.
So
damn it. And so just don't do that. It's, I don't know, weird. Anyways, they think this is a real probability. They're like, yeah, definitely it was just somebody's pet alligator they released into the wild. Because then they find a sharp tooth. The chief goes to the mayor and says, hey, we need to shut down the lake. And he's like, are you out of your mind? I can't shut down this lake. People need to fish in it and whatnot. And he's like, okay, but we found this like big tooth or whatever. And the mayor's like, listen, I'm not going to shut down the lake, but why don't you just go like do your job or whatever and we'll figure it out. Which to me, at this point, I'm like, that's fair.
Yeah, that's
okay?
mayor rules.
There's all kinds of things in the water, as we've said many times. It is weird that 2 people have died really recently. So in my mind, I'm like, just go to that part of the lake and look around, I don't know, whatever. Okay. He goes to check on his daughter Amber, who obviously is very upset because her boyfriend just got eaten the night before. And he's basically like, listen, until we figure out what's going on, like, I need you to stay out of the lake. And she's like, I'm never going swimming again. And I was like, finally, a smart teenager. Absolutely never go.
I'll still go out in the lake. I'm just not going swimming.
Right.
I'm never looking at water ever again.
I mean, I wouldn't even shower anymore. It's over. No more water. Only Baja Blast from here on
Water
out.
is canceled.
I'm gonna shower in coconut water like Jean-Claude Van Damme. So
Yeah.
bottled coconut water only for me. Yeah, and then like the dad had found a acceptance letter from college or something that she had like crunkled up and left on the floor, and he was like, "What's going on with this?"
They just never
And
go back to this.
so I'm confused about this argument that they have because she's like, "Well, me and my boyfriend were going to take a semester, like we were going to defer college and go to France instead." And she's like, "Oh, it seems so easy to tell you now that he's dead." And like they get in an argument about it, and I'm like, it seems pointless because it's not going to happen anymore. But the way that the argument goes, like the context doesn't make any sense. He's just like, maybe now's not the right time. And she's like, it's never the right time for you. And she like stomps out. And I was like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
Sure. I mean, okay, so now we meet Lori, who is from the Department of Freshwater Resources, and they're immediately like, "Where's the guy? Where's the guy from the whatever?" And she's like, "I'm the guy. I'm not balding." Hee hee. And I was like, "Okay, great."
I just like the one cop is just like, hubba, hubba, who's this? And I'm like, it's just like a generic middle-aged
Literally.
woman.
Yes, definitely. She's a biologist, and she's just like, not all of us are balding and chubby or something. He's like, I should say not. But then nothing ever happens between them, so it, again, seems kind of like a moot point, but it's whatever. So she comes in, and she looks at the bodies that they found so far, and they show her the tooth, and she's like, oh, no, this isn't from someone's pet alligator. This is definitely from a fish. And they're like, haha, you idiot. No, it's not. And she's like, oh, like, absolutely it is. And she beep, beep, beeps on her computer and pulls up the snakehead. And she's like, this is from a snakehead terror.
I gotta say, when you finally get, like, the reveal of what caused these snakeheads to become huge, I don't know how this, like, coroner is so bad at his job that he let it come out. Because, like, he could literally just been like, oh, yeah, this is just, like, I don't know, they got chopped up by a propeller. Goodbye. Instead, he's like, there's blatantly some kind of giant fish or something out in that water. I don't know what's going on. And then it's, like, revealed that he was, like, part of the fucking reason why. And it's like, come on, bro. Cover your fucking tracks.
I feel like...
Try a little harder.
You can still say it's a mawing because, like, obviously, if something's been mauled, like, you can tell. Don't show them the tooth and then be like, well, okay, to be fair, he did try and say it was an alligator, but definitely didn't, like, that didn't look like an alligator tooth. But, like, hide the tooth, you know? Maybe just
eat it.
Swallow
Put it in your mouth.
When it comes back out,
your
swallow it again, and then just the process repeats. No one will find it.
Stick it up your nose.
Yep, that is not what I thought you were gonna say, but good. Okay, now there is a dude fishing during the nighttime, which sounds terrifying to me. And he's reeling in a big one, and the line snaps. He hears a sound flopping around on the dock. It is a snakehead. I would say that this snakehead, I don't actually know how big snakeheads are actually. This one is kind of, yeah, like this one looks, I mean, this one is like the size of a snake, right? Like it's very obviously a fish, but it's like pretty big size, like maybe like a.
I mean, the ones in the movie are like not far off from how big actual ones can get.
Yeah, I was gonna try and compare it to like another fish size, but then I'm like, if people don't know fish sizes, that doesn't really. It's bigger than a foot long, so like okay, it's.
Looking at a picture, I mean, probably 2 feet.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me.
How big is it?
Get a tape measure.
How big is it in terms of a?
Oh wait, I have
Baja
a ruler.
Blast.
Google an image.
I will. Snakehead fit. I don't need Google to know my location when I'm Googling snakehead fish, okay?
It might need to. They're a big thing in Florida.
Don't tell me that. Okay, I love this. Here, do you know the difference? And there's three different fish: a northern snakehead, a bowfish, and a burbot. Like, yeah, I've definitely heard of a bowfish and a burbot. Know the difference, okay? Don't be
The burbot
stupid.
looks dumb. I want to punch the burbot. He
Yeah,
has like
I
a little
mean,
goatee.
I will say the actual snakehead does actually not look as scary as the ones in the show, but obviously
I'd take one as a
oh
pet.
wait, here's one on the land. I don't That's the thing I think maybe is bad about it. The little mud skipper. Ew, okay, there is a picture. There's a huge one. There is a huge one. Anyways, yeah, whatever.
There's a lot of huge ones.
Yeah, okay. So I don't aside from the snakehead that you get at the very end, I feel like a lot of these are very
They
true
don't get that
size.
big
No, well,
Well, you gotta keep giving them
that we know of.
human growth hormone.
he's been hitting
Yeah.
the gym, okay? He's all natural. He doesn't need that shit.
Barry
It's just
Bonds dumped all of his
it's
steroids after the steroid trial into the lake.
it's all about them gains, okay? Anyways, so there's just like a regular size snakehead flopping around on the dock, and he immediately jumps on the dock and starts like stabbing it, and it's like wah, wah, like making the screaming noise, and he's like stabbing it and stabbing it, and I was like, oh my God, what is
Horrific.
happening here? And then suddenly like a huge one flops out on the deck, and like bites him, and then he stabs it, and then it like I thought this was actually very funny because I wrote it free willies him off the deck. But then one of them also actually free willies at the end, and I was like, oh my God. But he really does. He just like jumps out of the water onto the deck and like takes the guy down into the depths with him. So he's dead. Okay, so now we're introduced to a reporter who comes to the I actually don't even really. I guess he was just kind of like investigating like the few deaths that there's been, and he overhears Lori, who is literally like standing in the like lobby of the sheriff's office, yelling, it's not a gator, it's a snakehead, it's a snakehead fish," like pretty much as loud as she can. And the reporter's like, "Oh my God, snakeheads are back," because as you'll remember, this happened 2 years before, where there was a infestation of snakehead fish. And so he sends his reporter to go down to the lake, his photographer, to go and take pictures, because he's going to write the article about this happening, and he's going to call it Snakehead Terror.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
I want to read
absolutely.
that article.
I was like, you said it. They do call it a Frankenfish in this movie, and then I was like, there
That's its
is a
own
movie
movie.
called Frankenfish, and then I couldn't remember if we had seen it or not.
I think we did it, right?
I don't think we've done it, but I'm
We've talked about it.
almost positive I've watched it.
I've definitely watched it multiple times.
Yeah,
The cover's burned in my mind.
yeah, but some of these blur together for me, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'm thinking of
Fair.
Razor Teeth.
Oh, that's a terrible one.
I know, but I don't know. I have no frame of reference for if I'd seen it and if it were good. I don't know. Okay. So for some reason, yeah. So the reporter's going to go type up this article, sends the photographer down to the lake to get some pictures. The chief and Lori, for some reason, have some like weird heart-to-heart about why she left the town. And he starts telling his sob story about how his wife died 2 years ago. And then he moved there to take a job that would let him spend more time with his daughter, which like doesn't seem like that's actually happening, but that's okay. And so then she's like, "Oh, so you were here like the last time there was like the outbreak of the snake hips?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure was." And they're basically talking about how the only way that they got rid of all of them was by dumping poison into the lake. And I'm like, that is great.
Sounds fine.
Because there's absolutely no way that there's not still poison in the lake 2 years later. Like, where's, like,
Yeah, I don't think it just goes away. Like
no. Like, I feel
it
like,
gets absorbed into the fish,
I don't
and
think you guys understand how to poison a lake properly.
I guess not.
that's probably true.
Wow.
I should go practice.
Yeah. Figure it out. Report back. So yeah, they're talking about that. The photographer goes down to the lake to get pictures of a snakehead, immediately gets eaten. Um, this is when Lori is, this is perhaps one of the scarier aspects of the snakehead fish, which is that Lori is telling the police chief that they can just walk up on land and survive. And like eventually they will have to go back in the water or they'll dry up and die. But they just come on walking up.
There you go. Drain the lake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good idea.
Way easier than dumping a bunch of poison in it.
What if you drain the lake, fill it with poison, and drain the poison when
Oh
everything's dead
yeah,
and put the water back?
Drain the poison.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Just
sounds
like
good.
fill the lake with mercury.
Yes.
Break 1 billion thermometers over it.
Just turn it into one giant thermometer.
So yeah, she
Well,
says that.
lake's rising into the air. It's gonna be hot again.
Yeah. Ah, shit.
That would be so weird. Okay, so she is like telling him all of these really terrifying like details about the fish as she's casually just walking into the water where 2 people have died and to get a sample of the water. And I was like, you are very brave. She's taking like samples and she's saying like, there's no reason that these fish should be getting so big on their own. There's got to be something in the water that is making them grow so big. Meanwhile, the reporter is driving back home, question mark, I don't know, gets on the phone and is talking about how like, oh man, this is our big break. We're going to release this snakehead story or whatever with the pictures. And then that's when he finds out that the photographer never showed up and he's like, that's weird. Then he immediately just starts like running over a bunch of snakehead that are in the road. There's like 6 of them.
This
He's
is
like
incredible. Just like
over them.
nonstop. Like someone's throwing them into the road and just like,
wow, like literally. And he ends up crashing, and then Snakehead opens his door and goes in there and eats him. Pretty good. But he's already written the article, so the next day there is an article in the newspaper about the snakeheads being around again, and instead of like a normal thing where people would be like, wow, that's really scary, I'm getting the fuck out of here, there's a bunch of fishermen who are flocking to the lake now because they want to catch themselves a snakehead. This is where we see a man wearing a t-shirt that says, I survived snakehead terror, and it is literally so amazing. It is like the shittiest. It's like basically like one of those white t-shirts that's so cheap it's like pretty much see-through, and I don't know what the print is, but it says like I survived, and then there's like a picture, like a cropped terrible like iron-on transfer of a snakehead in the middle, and it's literally so good. All you have to do is throw a Christmas hat on that little snakehead, and then you've got snakehead Christmas. So
easy as that.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, love the shirt. The mayor. So there's like all of these people walking all over the docks, right? It's like tourist. It's like a touristy thing now. The sheriff is putting up no swimming signs that he painted himself. And the mayor comes up and is like, well, what are you doing that for? You're going to scare people. And he's like, well, yeah, there's terrifying carnivorous fish in the lake.
I just sent y'all the hardest long sleeve of a snakehead fish I've ever seen.
Oh, shit.
I'm buying this shirt immediately. I'm gonna look so fucking cool.
Is this like
God damn. That's
what
sick.
are those called? Is it like a rash guard?
I don't know what it is. I just looked up Snakehead Terror shirt to see if anyone has
Wow.
like bootlegged the shirt in the movie, and this is one of the first things that popped up. I
I
need a
love
fucking
it.
shirt with a snakehead going down the sleeve.
Jason Matthias. His signature is really, really intense. What a beautiful illustration of a snakehead
It
terror.
looks so stunned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, no swimming sides. And he's like, yeah, there's like carnivorous fish like fucking eating people in the lake, so I feel like it's probably safe to say don't swim in it. And the mayor's like, well, I think don't do that. Don't alarm people. And also, I haven't seen any proof that they're like, show me any proof. And immediately some fishermen have pull up to the dock and have caught a snakehead. So they put it out on the dock and they look at it. It's pretty big. It's like pretty bigger. It's like maybe 3 times the size as the one, like the ones that we've seen swimming around so far. So it's like pretty big. And they're like, hey, there's your proof. Like, there's the snakehead. And the mayor's just like, oh, well, no reason to be alarmed. We caught it. Like, as if there's
Yeah,
any
it's fine
chance
now.
there's one of a fish. How would it have gotten there? There's only one. Okay, sir. And of course, like the police chief is like, okay, you fucking idiot. Like, I'm just gonna go figure this out myself. Like, do whatever. This is when Amber and friends are talking about how they're gonna get revenge on the fish, and so they get a gun. Very cool. Like a handgun, by the way.
Smart.
Like
I
someone's
love
dad's
revenge.
handgun. Yeah, fish revenge. So meanwhile, the chief and Lori go out in the lake, and Lori is testing the water, and this is when she she says, now the plot thickens. I was
There you
like,
go.
okay, girl. Because this is when they discover that there are high levels of HGH in the water, which is human growth hormone. Don't likey in our lakey, she says. Um, um, this is when they find another boat accident. There's like a boat that's flipped upside down, and he's like, oh no, let me investigate. He gets out of his boat to stand on the bottom of the boat that's capsized, and I was like, that seems like so scary. I don't like it. This is when I show up. There's just a head that bobs up in the water, like just a severed head. And the sheriff's like, "Oh, that's not great." Suddenly a snakehead. I keep wanting to say shark head. A snakehead comes up in the water like seal, like a seal animal style, and like volleyball punches it into the air and like sends the head just like fucking skyrocketing. And I was like, okay, that was insane. I'm on board now. This is when everything goes kind of like off the rails. So, um, the police chief is like, "Oh no, he is throwing heads at us now." And he starts just like shooting into the water. I have to say, there's a lot of people shooting guns into the water at the fish, and like surprisingly, a lot of them like hit a pretty good amount of the fish. So like, even though I don't feel like that is like, I know that the term is shooting fish in a barrel. I just like don't feel like it would be that easy to shoot a fish in a lake. No? With a handgun?
It just depends on how good you are.
I guess
If the
he's
lake was
really
the
good.
size of a barrel, that'd be
Well,
really easy.
that's true,
What if it's
but it's
actually
not.
easier if there's more area, and we just don't realize it? What if the
I
problem's the
mean,
barrel being too small?
You need to
yeah.
open your mind
Yeah,
like a lake.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Um,
we should do a calendar with like inspirational quotes on them, and that could be one of them.
Yeah. Open your mind like a lake.
um, yeah. So this is when he's like, "Oh no, we gotta close the lake." Oh, so they're on their way back, like, I don't know, I assume to tell the mayor about the head situation. when they noticed when they noticed, I thought for sure when the thing like hit it out of the spiked it out of the water, I thought it was gonna like hit the girl or something, but missed opportunity, I guess.
Sad. What a waste.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, man. So on their way wherever, this is when they stumble upon the guy who runs the bait and tackle shop, who is brothers with the coroner, and he is dumping something into the lake. And they have their little binoculars, and they're like, suspicious. And not suspicious at all. He sees them and immediately fucking takes off in his truck. They're able to see that the side of the canisters say, of course, human growth hormone. What does this say?
Did you write it in Spanish?
Yeah, I did. Oh, so like they're cutting in between this entire movie. They're pretty much like cutting in between like the police chief and Lori doing shenanigans, and then like the teenagers or whatever. There's like a little scene here of Amber and her friends like being on a boat, and they're talking about how there's like no fish on the radar because the snakeheads have eaten all the rest of the fish or whatever. There's a girl who like her friend is like being sick, and she's like, oh man, she's got like motion sickness or whatever. And then the other dude's like, here, this'll help, and hands her like a Yingling or something. And I was like, yeah, that's smart.
Perfect.
Yeah, very good. Finally, some of the a little baby snakehead shows up on the radar, and Amber's like, let's fucking kill it. And they're like, well, that's like not the one that killed Jerome or whatever his name was, so probably it's fine. And she's just like, it'll grow up. And I'm like, fair. If you're getting revenge, there's like absolutely no way. Like in his mind, he's like, oh, we're only going to kill this adult fish. And I'm like, how would you ever know which fish killed your friend?
Did I miss like Sling Blade being in this movie?
Yeah.
All right, just checking.
Yeah, you did.
This movie would somehow be even better with Sling Blade.
Just Katie playing Sling Blade in it.
I'm ready.
Taters and snakeheads.
The plot thickens. So she's like, let's just like fucking kill all the fish. And then they don't have to, because they see on the radar that the little tiny fish has been eaten by one of the big ones. And he's like, they're cannibals. And I was like,
hell yeah.
Well, that's pretty common in...
I mean, they're hungry.
Yeah, the Earth. Also, what else are they supposed to eat? There's nothing else in the lake except them, so...
Yeah, they ate everything else.
Yeah. So yeah, her plan is that Amber and her friend are going to just lay on the front of the boat, and she's going to shoot a gun into the water, and her friend... Harpoon has like a harpoon gun, and he's gonna try and harpoon them. I guess that's why I called him Harpoon.
The greatest plan in cinema.
Yeah,
worked in Jaws.
And so they're laying on the front of the boat, and the one kid is like fucking like stepping on it, and they're like fucking launching through the water. And the cuts that they do in this scene are just like so funny to me. Like this whole scene was just hilarious. And then they're chasing this like 8-footer or whatever, and then all of a sudden another boat comes out of nowhere, and they almost like eat shit, but they're able to like turn the boat or whatever. And the other boat has like actual like hunter guys on it. They've caught like other huge snakeheads, and they're like, "What are you doing out here? It's dangerous." And they're just like,
We're teenagers.
This is when
we do whatever the fuck we want.
Like literally, yeah.
We're youths.
This is when youths. This is when
the youths.
This is when they see on the radar that there's like an entire school of snakeheads coming towards them, and they're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then the snakeheads show up and start fucking like ramming into the side of the boat like the bull sharks do. And one of the hunter guys gets like thrown off the boat, and they're like, the teenagers are like, come on, swim to our boat or whatever. And like, meanwhile, Amber is shooting into the water, and I'm like, girl, please like chill out for a second, because like they're shooting at the fish, obviously, but the dude is swimming towards their boat, and I'm so surprised that one of them didn't like shoot him. He makes it to their boat right as a snakehead comes and like bites him and pulls him, and so as a result to that, he pulls Harpoon off into the water too. Another snakehead comes and hits the boat. Oh wait, no, this is when Harpoon falls in. So who knows what happened just then? Anyways, he falls in. But as he's falling, he shoots the harpoon gun, and a fucking harpoon shoots through the bottom of their boat. So now there's a hole in the bottom of their boat, and there's water coming in. The other girl is just like, you know, she's now motion sick and drunk, so that's great. And she's got a gun. She's shooting around, and she accidentally shoots the engine of the hunter's boat, who still has one guy on the boat, and the boat just fucking explodes and kills him.
Amazing.
So funny.
I was like, that guy was probably just like, God damn it. They don't even react to that at all. Like,
they're completely unfazed that they just murdered a man.
Yeah, they literally don't respond at all. But now they're dealing with the fact that like their boat has a hole in it and it's like taking on water, and also snakeheads are sticking their little heads up the hole, and they're like, they're like screaming and freaking out and shit. And Amber's like, okay, we gotta go, and she like hits, you know, like starts the boat. I don't know what you call step, you know, like, there's not gas pedals on boats, but she pushes the throttle. And they're going towards the island, and they're going so fast that they just fucking fly onto the land. And a snakehead has like come up through the bottom of the hole in the boat and latches onto Amber's arm, and she's screaming, kind of just like flailing her arm around, and there's like a huge snakehead attached to her arm. And then I think they show her like going to lower the snakehead into the propeller of the boat that's still going full speed, but they like cut away from it. So
it's so good. Like, it hits it a couple of times and you see chunks of meat fly off, and then it cuts to her still screaming, and she's like, that's good enough. You don't need to know if she kills it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
They just kind of allude to it. And then when they show her again, her arm is like immediately bandaged up. So I'm like, oh, I guess they like lost budget to have her have like an arm wound at this point.
At least they had a first aid kit.
Yeah.
You know?
Meanwhile, the sheriff, chief of police guy, and the deputy wait till the coroner leaves and then break into his office, where they end up finding a shredded kind of like manifest receipt for HDH. So this is like basically the coroner is ordering, because he's like a healthcare provider, whatever, is ordering the HGH that he's then giving to his brother, who is then dumping the HGH into the lake. Okay. Back to the kids. The kids are on the island walking around. They end up finding Harpoon, who has a broken leg. They find a cabin and they go inside. And they're like knocking. They're like, hello, hello. And they walk in and find that the owner of the cabin is dead. I can't really tell what happened to him. Maybe his legs are chewed off. I don't really know. But then they're like looking around trying to find a phone. Harpoon finds a snakehead eating a woman in the laundry room, which again, I was like, anytime they showed this like gore, and especially this woman, I was like surprised. It wasn't bad. Like, you know, this was fine. But there's a snakehead in there, and he's like, and he shoots it, and then is distracted by a big mouth bass singing on the wall. And while he's distracted by the delightful tune of the bass, he is attacked by the snakehead that's not dead.
Talking to the singing bass, too.
Yeah.
What a time that was. Big mouth Billy Bass.
It was something.
I miss him.
What a weird thing for everyone to be, like, obsessed with.
Well, with a fucking Talking Head song? Like, what? That's
Very
so
weird.
strange.
Yeah,
Talking
I don't
Heads
know.
had to have made so much fucking money off of that stupid bass.
I would hope so. Or what if they're just like, no one's gonna like this. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then they see the commercial and they're like, what?
Made more money off of that than anything else they actually did musically.
Probably. I bet you could still get one. Let's see.
Oh yeah, you could definitely still buy those. I don't know if you can get them brand new.
I hope they sell them in like different fish forms.
I guarantee you, there's like gas stations in like the Midwest.
So
I bet there's a gas station here.
$68
you
free
can.
delivery on Amazon Prime.
$68.
It'll sing.
Well, I
It
see
sings
one.
What
"I
the
will survive"
fuck?
and "Don't worry, be happy."
I
Wow.
Will Survive is a new one.
I
That's pretty
see
good.
Oh, there's
a
Jemmy, the big mouth bass.
no, there's like legit big mouth Billy Bass, like a new one on Amazon for like $30. Then there's
There we go.
vintage 1999 on eBay for 23.24. Batteries included. It doesn't get
Hell
much
yeah.
better than that. Then there's a Christmas one.
Oh,
So
I
yeah,
see
they're
that.
yeah, they're around still.
Still sings Jingle Bells and still I Will Survive.
Well, you know, you can't mess with the classics. I love that there's a Wikipedia page about it.
You can buy
See
a
if the Wikipedia page
bumper.
is a controversy, and
Okay, good.
You can buy a
Oh.
bumper sticker of Polly Walnuts from Sopranos holding a big mouth Billy Bass.
Perfect.
$5.
Um,
I haven't
under
seen Sopranos, but I'm investing in that.
people also ask, number 2 is, did Queen Elizabeth have a big mouth Billy Bass?
sure did.
The
She had to
answer
have.
was, yeah, she had one on display by the grand piano of Balmoral Castle.
Hell yeah.
People are like so invested in if the Queen had a Billy Bass.
The people need to know.
I mean,
It's
the
the
answer
only
is
way
yes.
in which she's like us.
Her love of corgis and big mouth Billy Bass.
Oh man,
Again-
there's a Halloween costume, and it's just like the wooden plank, and you stick your head through so you can be a big mouth Billy Bass.
Oh, you gotta have that. I thought you were saying that they were selling Halloween costumes for big mouth Billy Bass. Like, you know how
Oh, that would be good.
Elf on the Shelf became such a thing that they sell separate like pets and outfits for them? I thought it was like Halloween costume for him. What would he be?
I
Good
don't know.
question.
Inmate.
Hot dog inmate. Yeah. I know for sure somebody's like listening to this that's like too young and they're like, what in the fuck are they
What
talking
the
about?
fuck are these ancient assholes talking about?
Ancient assholes. Okay.
Nobody under the age of 40 listens to this podcast. We're only for
I'm
the
under
old
the age of
heads.
40.
Yeah.
I disagree.
The old. I'm 13, remember?
Kid and I are going to jail. I'm
For
pretty sure you're not
talking
allowed
to
to
me on the
podcast with
internet.
underage.
Oh, man. Oh, geez. Well, you can get them that will sync with your Alexa.
Oh my god.
What?
What a
Mm-hmm.
hellscape.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one that my family had. It was motion activated,
Yeah.
and it's saying,
God, man.
"Don't worry, be happy, and take me to the
Yes.
river."
What a fucking
The don't-
bleak time. When like
Yeah,
all
the
of this
don't-
shit was like motion activated, like the little Santas that would sit on the counter and stuff.
Yeah. The Don't Worry, Be Happy, I vividly remember somebody in my family had one that sang that.
That's the
They do
only
also
song I
have-
remember them singing. I don't remember the Talking Heads like at all.
They have the same company made one that is Bruce, and it's $40 on eBay. Like it's like a legit product. Time. Oh my god, Big Mouth Larry Lobster. Larry Lobster is $60.
What?
Yeah.
Like official SpongeBob Larry the Lobster?
It looks just like a regular lobster.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm only paying a
Lobster.
$60 premium for
All right,
fucking
hear me out.
actual Larry.
You make
Okay.
one of those. It's just Larry the Cable Guy.
Mm,
Ew, gross.
You know what?
Larry the Lobster guy.
What was his? I don't remember what his phrase was. Was it "Get her done"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get her
Every
done.
time you walk by, it's just Larry the Cable Guy's head pops out like fucking 90-degree angle and starts saying "Get her done" at you.
Ew. I don't like that at
Sounds
all.
like a nightmare.
So
I'm about to be a
somebody
billionaire. Fuck you guys.
somebody has like a whole lot you can buy on eBay that's got Billy Bass, Travis the Trout, and Larry Lobster, $300 vintage.
I'll only buy Travis the Trout if he sings Travis Tritt songs.
No, he just
Travis?
sings Travis the Band songs.
He's pretty cute, I will say. They also have Dexter the Singing Duck. Wow, he has $300 on his own, so he must have been
What?
limited edition. Yeah.
I see a real duck.
No, he's like the same animatronic, but he's like a mallard. All right.
I don't
Well,
understand.
he doesn't look mounted either. Like he looks like. Do you remember the duck phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it looks like that.
No, thank you.
Oh, here's Travis the Trout. It won't just tell me what he's singing. I am not going to click on the video. Okay. Anyway, that's how you can tell that this movie is from 2004.
Yeah.
The
the dying days of Big Mouth Billy Bass.
Yeah. R.I.P.
They're-
to
they're-
that one.
Wringing the last little bit they could out of that joke.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah. Harpoon is attacked for his love of Billy Bass. This is when, the chief and Lori have seen the bait guy dumping the hormones and been like, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, ah, shit. And he gets in his truck and he's...
Travis the Trout, I'm getting one of these.
Look good.
Look,
This is horrifying. What the fuck was wrong
That's
with us?
incredible. What it sings for so long.
So if you,
What
yeah,
is
oh my God, they do. So if you get the one that you sync up with Alexa, could you play through just any music as a speaker?
That's a good question.
Like, imagine him singing.
That'd be horrific.
Like anything, your heart's
Her
desire.
Ghost- Her Ghost in the
anything.
Fog by Cradle of Filth.
Yeah, Deaf Heaven. He's just like. Bah, 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 you know?
Speaking of costumes, I'll get my fucking Travis the Salmon or whatever like that.
Travis
Terrible.
the Salmon.
What's his name?
Travis the
Steve
Trout.
the Salmon.
There you go.
Steve the Salmon's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what we should do. We'll just come up with various alternate fishes
What
for
about-
Big Mouth Billy Bass.
What about Steve the Snakehead?
See, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Let's get our product team on that stat.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What? I just would
Dave
love
the Dogfish.
like.
Oh, let's see what Dexter the Singing Duck.
No. Mm-mm. No, thank you, Dexter. No.
Oh, this is horrifying.
Dexter singing Wild Thing sounds incredible.
Does his mouth open?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does the same thing
Terrible.
the other ones do, where like its head just like moves to the side, like towards you,
Okay.
but it's like somehow more horrific.
I hate that so much. I really.
I love it.
I
I'm
don't
in.
The
like it.
duck one was
Um,
pretty terrible.
I'll take 6.
The thing that like really stands out in my memory about them also is how loud the like animatronics of it were. So it's like you knew before it started singing, somebody pressed it because it'd be like wee, like insane. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so now the Chief and Lori are doing a boat roadside chase where they've seen the coroner at the dock and they're like, Dr. Coroner, stay where you are. And he's like, oh shit. And he like gets in his car, starts driving down a road that's like literally right along the lake. And they're like, pull over. And they're like chasing him with their boat. And I was like, I don't know if that's going to be effective. But then he gets another cop to like pull him over and whatever. And basically they're just like, okay, please tell us the plot of this movie. What's going on here? And the coroner's like, all right, check it out. Essentially, he says that they did it for the town, of course, right? When the snakeheads like came and like took over the lake in the first place, the only way that they could kill them and get rid of them all is the poison. But then the poison, of course, killed the rest of the ecosystem. His brother owns a bait and tackle shop, so if there's no fishing at the lake, that's literally his livelihood. And so they were trying to speed up the regeneration of the regular fish in the lake by pouring HGH into it, which in hindsight, I can't actually see how they thought that was going to be a good idea in any sense of it. But essentially, like, yeah, because the snakeheads ruined the population, they were just trying to like jumpstart the other fish coming back. And I'm like, why didn't they just get the town to restock the lake? Whatever, I don't know. And they thought the snakeheads were gone, so they were like, very obviously, there's really no downside to us pouring gallons of HGH into this freshwater lake that
just
people
makes sense.
Swim and everything in, right?
Yeah.
So Lori says,
they've already poured poison in it. Like,
I mean, like,
it's a little HGH can hurt.
Sure, yeah. Fair. So Lori is just like, okay, well, if they've been pouring HGH into the lake for like weeks, like 6 weeks at this point, there could be hundreds or even thousands of snakeheads in there now. And unfortunately, the poison that they used last time is not going to work this time because now they're immune to it. And I'm like, sure, I guess.
That's how it works.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time I slurp mercury, I get stronger.
That's fair. So now the bait guy who had run away before is heading to the island with his HGH containers, and I was like, he's gonna continue dumping HGH, but that's not actually what happens. So meanwhile, we're back at the kids, right? And they're in the cabin, but there just is no phone in the cabin. And they're like, how is there no phone out here? And I'm like, good fucking question. Because there's huge fucking power lines on the island for literally no reason. Like, there's one cabin and they're not gonna have a phone. Seems safe. And then Amber says, if we get out of here, I'm eating sushi for the rest of my life. And I was like, okay. Weird threat, but yeah. Do you? I'm really gonna get back at those snakeheads by eating sushi.
Yeah, make sushi out of the snakeheads that were
poisoned and then HGH. Then she would become the bodybuilder. What a twist. So they're still. It's like Amber, the other girl, and Harpoon. And he's got a broken leg, and also he's been attacked by a snakehead again or whatever.
Sure.
And so they're like, okay, well, I don't really know what else to do. So I'm assuming at this point that the kids don't actually realize that the snakeheads can just walk up out of the water onto land because they're on the shore. They're just like hanging out on the shore, and they're like, okay, well, why don't we just like build a fire so that somebody will see the fire and come rescue us? And so they're gonna just like leave Harpoon there by himself. And I was like, sounds stupid, but go for it. So they're gonna do that. Lori, meanwhile, has discovered that she's got a fish stun gun. And so they're gonna basically just like use that to like get the snakeheads, right? So they're in the boat and they see a shirt in the water that is from one of the hunters, I think. And so the chief goes to like pick it up, and I love how like petty these snakeheads are. Also, they're like fucking punting severed heads at the people. He leans down to pick up the shirt out of the water, and the snakehead immediately like grabs it. He's like, "That's mine, gimme!" Like, they're so petty. I love it. And then so when the snakehead jumps up to grab the shirt from him, Lori stun guns the water, and it like stun electrifies all of the fish that are like in the vicinity or whatever. So
Incredible.
yeah, that's their plan.
That gun rules.
So the shark snakeheads are, I wrote SH, obviously. I wrote SHS, snakeheads, but
Snakeheads.
snakeheads. I want to read it as sharks every
Sean,
single time.
Sean Connery versus the Snakeheads. We're surrounded by snakeheads.
Actually, I would watch that.
Absolutely, I would.
So the snakeheads have started to smell Harpoon's
Smell.
leg, smell his blood from his broken leg up on the shore. And
I think we skipped over whenever they first meet up, and he walks up and one of the women just goes, "Ew, your leg is broken." And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine," and just walks on it
Yeah.
normally for the rest of the
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Like they have a couple times where he's just like they use it for like slowing down as they're trying to run away effect. But then it's like he
Yeah,
seems
pretty much.
relatively getting around okay for a lot of it.
They do also show like
Ew, your leg is broken is such a
The
sick fucking response.
they do show basically like a wound, but it kind of just looks like he scraped his knee, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it looks
He's
really
fine.
gross.
yeah,
but
he's fine.
he's handling it fine.
He is.
He's being a
like,
big boy.
He is. He's like barely complaining that he first of all has a broken leg and then was like gored in the side by a snake. He's he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's a champ.
So this is when he is now like laying on the shore, and the snakeheads are coming because they can smell his blood, from his broken leg. He's like also bleeding out. It's whatever.
Watched entirely too many movies about things smelling blood this week.
Yeah. Well, it's the new genre.
This is the life you chose.
Yep,
Snakehead
it
fish
is.
in Twilight. Confirmed.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
I would too.
Snakehead Twilight
Just
crossover.
Replace fucking Renesmee with a snakehead fish.
With a
They look
snakehead.
basically the same.
I mean, actually. Like, yeah, the only difference is they just have to like return her to the water sometimes so she doesn't dry up.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is where so the bait guy is not continuing to dump HGH. He is now trying to hide the containers by digging a hole on the island and putting the containers down there, but he quickly becomes surrounded by snakeheads, and then they bite him and kill him.
That's how you get giant worms.
I mean, actually, I don't know actually what his plan was, because after they see him dumping the HGH, no one ever talks to him or like encounters him. So we don't really know what the plan was there. What if he was like, they're just hungry. I'm going to HGH worms so that the snakeheads can eat the worms and then they'll leave us alone.
Good idea.
Yeah, they don't
Smart.
give him credit, Too bad he's dead. Okay, so the chief
R.I.P.
and Lori start nearing the island. The snakehead start getting aggressive and like hitting the boat or whatever. Lori is like, oh my God. Okay. None of these people, for people who live in a like community that literally thrives on like the lake and lake activities, they have absolutely no idea what they're doing when it comes to being on a boat, because one of the snakeheads like hits the boat or whatever, and Lori immediately like uses her stun gun to like electrify and like short circuit the boat that they're on, so the boat no longer works.
Well, she like trips or something and like hits the metal in the boat, which electrifies, like just explodes their engine or whatever.
The snakehead like hits the thing or whatever, but I'm like, why do you have the gun on when you're standing in the boat?
Guys, what if a fucking snakehead jumps in the boat? What are you supposed to do? Wait till
Then
like
you turn it
charge
on.
your gun again? Gotta have that shit ready.
Well, that's how you fucking fry your boat.
If I
and
had
catch
this
it on
gun,
fire.
it would constantly be at my side, ready to go. Someone asked me a question at work, just shock the shit out of them.
Yeah, I think you'd probably go to jail pretty fast if you had this gun.
What are they gonna do? I got a giant taser. They can't get to me.
Yeah, okay, fair. They'll throw a kerosene lamp bomb at you.
Fucking fucking Molotov cocktail she makes in this movie is insane.
Okay, so it's so fucking okay. So Lori has fucking fucked their boat up, right? Okay. This is when legitimately off in the distance a snakehead free willies, which is obviously we've established that 1994 is vintage or whatever the fuck. A huge
99,
snakehead.
okay?
Okay,
More
okay,
recent.
You're right. That's even worse. Breaches out of the water like a whale, and it's like, "Roar!" And she even says like, "Oh my god, that's as big as a whale." And I was like, "Yeah, that's really not good. That's really bad, actually. That thing's fucking huge." So,
I mean, if you just let it go, like, just keep everybody off the water for, like, 2 months, that thing's gonna starve to death.
yeah.
Like, that thing's not gonna have
Um,
enough food to eat if people just stay. Well, I don't know. I guess it could, like, push itself on land, but still.
it definitely can, and also
It's gonna
people,
make it into the forest and eat all the deer.
yeah. Also, people are literally not going to stay off the water, especially if you say, "Hey, stay off the water." They're going to be like,
Can you
"You
imagine you're
can't
just,
tell me
like,
what to do."
sitting at home in your cabin with no phone, and this giant
And then
ass
a
fucking
fucking
whale
fish
snakehead
walks into
fish
your
Yeah.
house.
just starts, like, pushing its way into your house?
I could actually, and that's why I don't live on a cabin on an
You live in
island.
fucking
Because,
Florida. That's basically about to happen to you at any moment.
Yeah.
wow, I strategically live very far away from any possible water. So,
Oh,
so
Jesus
now,
Christ,
like,
Kit.
oh
That's
no.
just for you, Nathan. Katie will probably want one too.
What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the bad guy? Incredible.
I should send you. Do you remember that one?
The hat.
The hat.
Yeah, the hat's the best part. That's why I sent it.
Okay,
What did you say, Katie?
it. There was one oh my god, it's Studio House. Okay, I absolutely need this tie-dye
No,
one.
you need the hat.
Yeah, get to the hat.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. I named like whenever we were playing Diablo the season that I was the druid, I did a werewolf build and my name was BWTHHYBL. Bella, where the hell you been, Loca? And it was everything to me.
So dumb. That rocks.
Shit. I really have to send you this one pantsuit I saw that's like a Jacob Renesmee one, and it says like she keeps me wild, he keeps me safe, or something like that. I definitely have sent it to Nathan in the past,
Probably.
but oh, I sent you that Charlie one. Your dad is my cardio. That's so disgusting. Okay, I'll find it eventually. Most of this is I send you a lot of kind of gay stuff, actually. There's like a Deadpool / Spider-Man like comic. Where is it? I'll find it. I'll send it. I'll send it separate. Okay, what was happening? Oh, okay. So this is a scene where like everybody is now on the island and the kids have picked up Harpoon and are trying to like run through the woods to go back to the cabin. And this is where we get it's only this scene, but we get it a few times where it's like snakehead vision, where we like see the snakeheads from their point of view or whatever. And the kids end up, they're getting attacked in the woods, and so they're like screaming and shit. And so that's how the chief like knows that they're actually there. So they get back in the cabin. They're looking around to try and find like weapons or whatever. And like essentially the snakeheads like very easily get into the house. The one girl is like, this door's not locking. What's up with this? And just opens it, and there's like a snakehead there. And then the other girl like blows a hole in the door so like they could just come in now.
Hell
So
yeah.
they're like screaming or whatever. Harpoon is kind of having a rough time on the couch, and he pretty much just like gets eaten by a snakehead, so he's dead. R.I.P. So then, yeah. Oh. I can't believe I almost forgot this. There's like a scene where like the snakehead like pulls Harpoon off the couch, and then he like backs up against the fireplace, and then the snakehead pretty much like bites his entire
Yeah,
head.
it just like crushes his head.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And he's dead.
Finally.
Yeah. End his
Finally.
suffering, honestly. So then the police chief and Lori are like trying to figure out like how they can save the girls or whatever. And so they're like yelling at them and they hear them. And so they're like, open the window and they're like yelling back and forth. And they're like, oh, Amber, I'm so glad that you're safe. Like, um, go look in the house and try and find some rubber boots and rubber gloves. And they're like, okay, we'll do that or whatever. And so, meanwhile, Amber has taken a kerosene lamp and made like a Molotov cocktail out of it. But she's like, eat shit,
But
and like throws it out the
it's in
window.
like
And it
it's
only,
so funny because it's not even like a big. It's in like what looks like it's in like a old lady's like candy dish container. Like I don't know how to explain. It's like this like it's almost like UFO shaped, and it just kind
yeah,
of
I mean,
it's so weird. It's just like the weirdest
they
thing.
show her when she goes in actually take it off. So it is like legit a kerosene lamp, but like I don't understand. She literally throws it and it catches the grass on fire, but it doesn't hit like any
I
of
mean,
them. So I was like,
can't
that was pretty
set
anticlimactic.
your like eight physical snakeheads on fire. 'Cause you need those for the rest of the shoot. So
Yeah, fair. They're just like, no, thank you. So then, um, so they end up getting like their rubber gloves and everything, and they also have hairspray that they are torching them around in the grass with. And then Lori comes up and she's like, here, here, and throws them a hose and is like, just spray them with water. I need you to make puddles. So they basically like flood the yard. And then this is when I wrote, I don't know if anybody ever addresses her before, but Amber addresses her friend and her name is Jagger.
yeah, they say it like a couple times. I think.
This is the only time that I noticed it because she's like, Jagger, 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 or whatever. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah. Who?
Okay, Jagger. So Jagger immediately. Okay, so basically, um, the chief, like, they're doing a lot of stuff with electricity here or whatever. So the chief is like off trying to like figure whatever out. Lori is like here, flood the yard or whatever. So they make all these like huge puddles in the yard, and Lori uses the stun gun to like electrify the water and like electrify all of the snakeheads that are touching the water. Jagger immediately falls into a puddle of water and gets like electrocuted, and it's just like whoa. And this is when she's like Jagger, Jagger.
I just like
Ew.
I was
Lori
like,
is just like she's fine. She's just gonna have like her memories are gonna be fucked up for a minute or whatever. Like I
yeah,
don't
she's like,
know if
I don't
that's how
think
being
so.
electrocuted works.
No,
Yeah.
and she's like, oh, what happened? Like, where are we or whatever? And I was just like, oh my God, girl. So then, meanwhile, the chief has gone back to the shore where that like huge like power grid box is, and he shoots it with a gun and it explodes. For some reason, this power grid that is on an isolated island that only one cabin is on, like blows out the power in the entire town. And I was like, that seems not good.
And there are only 4 people who live in the town, so
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
guess so. I just was like, So then, there the dock is also on fire now. This is when finally the big Mambo snakehead is like busting up the dock because he's like coming up underneath it and just like jacking it up or whatever. And they're all like screaming. They're like not really sure what to do because again, he's kind of like the size of a whale. There is a live power line that's like flicking around on the floor from when he
Yeah,
shot
the cops' plan
the
is to, electrify the lake. So he shoots a electrical pole like 9 times because apparently one shotgun blast won't fucking just separate the wire.
Yeah, so Amber ends up picking it up and then putting it into the water, and it electrifies not only the giant like whale shark, but like somehow there's enough power for it to electrify the entire lake.
Well,
And
like he says that it's literally like the electrical source for the entire town.
I know that's why I said it like blew out the power in the entire town, and I said I don't think that's a very good idea.
Yeah. I mean,
So
people
yeah,
don't
it
need power.
basically.
The one
I mean,
guy doesn't even have a
obviously,
phone. What do they even have electricity in this place for?
That's literally what I was saying.
Just-
Also, like, what if you need help out there? I mean, obviously you did because you got eaten by a fish that came into your house.
Right.
So
That's new movie idea. Snakehead Terror, but it's in an Amish community.
I mean,
How you gonna stop
okay,
them now?
so
You don't have electricity.
The TLC reality show.
Yeah. My
so then basically
1,000
there's
pound
just
snakehead.
Yeah.
like tons and thousands of like dead fucking fish floating in the lake, which I can't imagine will smell very good.
Why didn't
in a
they
couple
do this
days.
the first time instead of
They
poisoning the
did-
lake?
Because they didn't have brilliant Dr. Lori there.
Well, this
to,
wasn't her
but
plan.
also,
This was the fucking police dude's plan.
well, it was her plan to like stun gun them. Like she's the one that brought electricity into the mix.
fair.
And then he was just like, okay, let's just ruin the town by blowing out our electrical system, and also literally our whole lake is just full of dead fish. So like my thought too is like, what's the plan to get rid of all the dead fish? Because now you just have a lake of dead fish.
Yeah, just let them go. Let them rot.
No, they're like, okay, maybe now we release a gator, and the gator will eat all the dead fish, and then we'll release a shark to get rid of the gator, and
And then
then
a whale to get rid of the shark, and then
yeah, that's
yeah, but now
probably
you have
fine.
a whale, like a lake whale, to like drag in.
They'll
Tourists.
just befriend the whale, so he won't kill them. You know,
How many times you get to see a lake whale?
Not very often.
not very often, and also please never. So then I just wrote yeehaw because like essentially they're all just like, oh good, everything is fixed, even though as I said, there's still a lot of problems. Then the movie ends and it immediately starts playing like a reggae song, which I was like, again, very weird choice.
Fits the vibe
Yeah, I guess.
perfectly.
That's it. Then apparently there's an even better song after that, but I couldn't get through that one to listen to it, so that's my bad.
Yeah.
We'll play it right now.
There's no way I'm finding Jazzberry Ram on Soulseek.
If they've got a Wikipedia page, they're probably on there.
Oh,
Like a multi-paragraph Wikipedia page.
do you think? Let's see if they're on Spotify.
Gotta be.
That's. Oh my God! Come on, Spotify. All right, I'll tell you eventually when my Spotify connects to the fucking internet. All right, there we go. Let's see how many listeners they have in a month. 254.
That's
Okay.
252 more than I
Oh,
expected.
they have an album called Land Shark.
That's true. I think it was their
Oh.
last one.
No, there's two more following it, at least on here.
What the fuck?
Super
That Wikipedia page is incomplete.
The fuck? This band looks terrible. What? I can't. They have a song called "All I Think About Is Sex."
Oh, I thought you were going to say sharks.
Yeah, same.
I mean, well, Lick It is on Land Shark.
Hell yeah. As it should be.
Oh no.
terrible.
Rocks.
All right.
Slaps. Banger.
Kit's new favorite band.
Yeah. Jazzberry Ram.
Yeah, seems
I wish I
seems
had enough
appropriate.
knuckles to get knuckle tattoos for it.
You could if you were AI.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. Any news, Katie?
No.
All right, good.
Good.
Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Well, I kind of already. Oh, geez, I finally found this picture I've been looking for. We finally started watching X-Files, which, thank God. We watched
Hell
like
yeah.
two episodes of Ghost Whisperer, and we're like, maybe not. We're not that far though. We're only like 15 episodes in, maybe, because it's like
Oh.
our nighttime show. So.
You're further than me.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I'm like
if
9 or 10, I think.
If I wasn't watching it by myself, I would be probably on season 4 already. But it is what it is. I'm okay to savor it. I sent you the best pantsuit. You can
Oh
see
my god.
She keeps me wild. He keeps me safe. There it is. Beautiful.
Is that what that horrible little child is from? Is from Twilight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's.
I've seen that
Renee.
horrific little face so many times and had
Yep.
no idea.
That's her.
What the fuck?
She's okay. I won't get into it. What else did I watch? Let's see. Okay, we watched Blood in the Water. Was the shark? Okay, so I finally watched Lamb.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna say I loved it. I am obsessed with Ada, or however you say her name. I love her so much. The twist at the ending, I literally, and I don't do this often, said "what the fuck" out loud when I saw the thing, and I was like, okay, I don't know that I don't know. I have so many mixed emotions about it because it was kind of very stupid.
I stand by my Letterboxd review.
Yeah.
Was, I think, like, it cannot hit me with something that heartbreaking immediately after such a fucking insane and stupid reveal.
Yeah, it really crazy. But I sort of feel like
Rocks.
maybe that's why it works, because I was very upset,
Is so shocked.
so confused. I'm gonna say that I don't feel like it's a movie that Nathan would enjoy though, but I don't know. I really liked it. And then I watched Echo for our bonus episode. Then I finally watched Grave Encounters, which I somehow hadn't seen. And I guess for people who don't know, it's a found footage film that I feel like is like pretty, it's like one of the like quintessential ones, I would say, that people talk about. And it was okay. Like, I feel like this happens to me a lot with, I don't want to say in general. I mean, I guess it is in general, but specifically with found footage, where the first like half an hour-ish, I'm like very into it, because this movie is from 2011, but it really captures the like, it's a found footage, like a ghost hunting movie, right? And I felt like the beginning of it really encapsulated that feeling of like early ghost adventures and like ghost hunters kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I'm like really into this. But then like once the stuff, like the activity started happening, I was like, okay, I'm into this. But then the more it escalated, I was like, this is really stupid. So I don't know. It was okay. I do not feel I need to watch the second one at all. And,
Too grave, too encountered.
Yeah. And then I just had rewatched Twilight, which obviously 10 out of 10 cult classic. And we watched a really hell of a dumb, stupid Super Bowl. And I think that's pretty much it.
What about you, Kit?
Let's see. I watched Suitable Flesh, which was okay. It starts off real slow and like real bad. It's, modern low budget movies that aren't like, they're not like, I filmed this in my backyard low budget, but they're just like, this is clearly on some cheap digital camera and it doesn't look good and it like looks real flat, and that kind of visual. It's like that, which sucks. And it starts real slow, but then by the end, it starts getting real wacky and gory, and I was like, okay. And it almost saves it. It at least makes it watchable. Okay, 2.5 stars. Uh, then I watched Clear and Present Danger for some reason. I have no idea. It was like a Harrison Ford action movie. I'll put that on. Uh, Pretty good. That's literally my only thoughts on it.
Yeah, I feel like any of the
Uh,
Harrison Ford ones, it's like the best you're gonna get
and
is like
Jack
it's
Ryan.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Is
Okay, Katie.
I was gonna ask, I get a lot of his movies confused, and I was gonna ask if that was the one where he was the president, but this isn't that
Nah,
like a what's it
that's Air
called?
Force One.
Isn't he the one that's like somebody writes it's like a book series?
Yeah, it's Tom Clancy.
Yeah, okay,
He's
yeah, yeah,
Jack
yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, that's ringing a
Uh,
bell.
but someone, for some reason, has just been a thing that's stuck on my brain for like 10 years. It was like someone tweeted about one of the Tom Clancy movies being like inadvertently leftist.
Oh.
And I was trying to figure out which one it was because HBO had fucking all three of them. And I think it was this one. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. And hit play and I think it was fine. The real winner, though, is Night Chills.
Hell yeah,
The shot on video killer D&D film. Which
Ugh.
it slaps.
it's so good.
I remember
I
somebody brought it up kind of recently, and I remember you guys talking about it, and I was like, I want to watch it.
It's like
But
I think they don't lean into the D&D stuff hard enough. Like I wish there was more of it, but like
yeah.
Yeah.
it still rocks.
Whenever he starts killing, I wish they had definitely leaned into it more. Because like the first 30 or 40 minutes, like you just get like full sessions of them playing D&D. It's fucking awesome. So I wish he had like been screaming all the weird shit that he screams in D&D as he was murdering people. But it's fine. Missed opportunity. That guy's a real fucking weirdo in that movie. It's so good. Katie, he's like crushing on a woman in the D&D group who clearly has no interest in him, and he's like fawning over her like a puppy. And
hmm
after one of the sessions, he's like says, like I cast my infatuation spell on you or some shit. It's oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's
Is he wearing a fedora? Because that sounds like,
he is not.
wow.
This was pre-Fedora days, but
I was gonna say he has a mental one.
he's
Well,
yeah,
sounds about
he's
right.
definitely Fedora energy about him. Yeah, incredible.
Incredible.
Highly recommend.
All right, I need to figure out a way to watch it.
It's probably on YouTube for free.
Okay. I don't remember why we were talking about it before, but I
I
specifically
I
remember.
bought the Blu-ray from
Same.
one of like I forget what label put it out, but it's like one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels released it, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll like just blind buy it, or maybe we'll see. And my friend Chris Matthews was just like, oh, I just watched this like SOV like D&D movie and it rocks, and I was like, all right, buying this.
Yeah, maybe you just had brought it up, and then Kit posted it onto his story, and it like brought back the memory, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'll look on
Yeah, it
YouTube.
rules. Anything else, Kit? Was that it?
Nope, that was it.
All right. I watched all the fucking Twilight movies, which is
Woohoo! What a
Hell
great
yeah.
week.
and then I've been kind of digging into Vinegar Syndrome's Lost Picture Show box set, and while none of the movies I think are necessarily great, it's been like they're all kind of interesting watches because they're all what were thought to be completely lost movies that just they randomly stumbled across the elements for and like updated and preserved or whatnot. And there's one called Red Midnight, which is this orthodontist just got really obsessed with the idea of like people's houses and buildings being too close together, that if there's a fire in like a city, like everything's fucked. and took that idea and then made a weird nuclear bomb, like anti-nuclear war movie about a nuclear bomb hitting Cape Cod, and it kind of rocks. It's from like 1965. I don't know. It's so fucking strange, and it rules. But there's also an extremely sick full-length like documentary called Against the Grain on it that just is all about like Vinegar Syndrome and like Severin and Kino Lorber and all of these places that are doing like film restoration and preservation stuff. It's just this fascinating like interview with like all of the people behind those companies and what it takes to like find and like preserve and restore all of these films. It's honestly, for me, it was like worth the price of the box set alone. It's so good. Yeah, and I think that's it. Just fucking Twilight in that box set.
Also, I watched the Vinegar Syndrome 4K restoration of Existence
Oh
finally.
yeah,
God, it looks so fucking good, and that movie has aged like fine
yeah. I can't
wine.
wait to get around to that because I haven't seen that movie probably since close to when it came out. And I remember loving it.
I completely forgot that Jude Law tongue fucks Jennifer Jason Leigh's porthole.
Yeah,
So
what a fucking
gross.
banger movie.
No, thank you. No thanks. Abort
This was
mission.
after she fingered his porthole, so it's
Oh
I'll
fine.
say,
no.
Katie, you don't
Oh
want to watch a
no, thank
David
you.
Cronenberg body horror video game movie?
You should see the
Um.
controllers.
Oh.
They do surgery on
Oh,
one.
it's so good. What
Mm,
king?
I feel like not for me. Thank
It's
you.
it's actually even better than I remembered it being.
It's one of those ones that I feel like got either like shit on or completely forgotten after it came out. And I remember
I,
watching it like whenever it came to like DVD or whatever, like home video, and I was like, this fucking rules. Everyone's crazy.
I I think it's that it was newer, and also it hits a lot of the same stuff that Videodrome
Sure.
does, just for video games instead of movies. But I don't know, in a world where video games are now a multi-billion-dollar industry, it it definitely, I don't know, hits a lot
Yeah.
different,
Yeah, I'm excited to
especially with VR stuff popping off the way it has. It's like, oh man, weird.
David Cronenberg and predicting meta. Or not meta, what's the bullshit world that fucking Zuckerberg's trying to make?
I thought
That
it
was
was
Is it
Meta.
Meta.
meta? I know that's what they
Yeah.
Yeah,
named
they
like
made Meta and then he renamed
yeah.
the company Meta after that, and then it's all been a huge fucking failure, and it's really
Still
funny.
working on those legs. All right, shout outs, Katie.
Um. Anti shout out that Duolingo bird because he's really being a bully to me, and I've been so studious, and he just glares at me from my phone. Like, chill out, bro.
Yeah, well, you're not speaking fluent Spanish yet. It's been like 2 weeks. What the fuck?
He
Yeah,
hasn't
what
heard
are you
me.
doing?
Actually, yeah, today is my 25-day streak, and I'm not speaking at all because I am not paying a premium just for him to keep yelling at me. I do like one complete lesson in both of them every single morning, and by the nighttime, I have like 6 or 7 notifications from them being like, doing a practice, doing a practice. And I'm like, I did my 3 minutes. I do more than 3 minutes, but you have to do like a certain amount for it to count as a streak or whatever. And I always, without fail, do it. And then he's just like, hey, you fucking idiot. And he's like
It's
glaring
been
at me.
two
And I'm like,
hours. What the fuck you doing?
why aren't you completely being studying studious? And I'm like, please, I'm trying. I'm so tired. And he's just staring at me. No, I have been enjoying Duolingo though. Um I would recommend it. It's like it is a little annoying because it is like I said, I'm doing the free version obviously, and there's a lot of ads because they want you to pay to have no ads or whatever. But I would like recommend it as just like a free thing. And then I feel like that's all I've been doing is just I don't think I Oh, you know what? Actually, I just finished a book this morning that is my fourth book this year, and it was called Starling House, and I really enjoyed it. It was like one of those. When did it come out? Maybe last year. It was like one of those books that was like a really popular on the internet or whatever, which a lot of times can be so iffy. And then I finally waited like 3 months to get it on Libby or whatever, and I finished this morning, and it was pretty good. So far I've read Camp Damascus, Starling House. What was the other book I read? Oh, I read a collection of short stories that I did not care for. But other than that, so far the year is going very good. So I hate to sound like a nerd by saying my shout out is reading and learning language. But, this year is about enhancing yourself. So do whatever the hell you want. Eat Baja Blast pie.
Cool. Kit, what's your shout out?
Vanderpump Rules is back.
No.
My shout out is being dumb. I'm the opposite of Katie's. Make yourself worse. Watch reality
Yeah.
TV.
Listen, you can do both. It's fine.
No, I don't think you can.
I am doing both.
Well, there you
My shout out, Knowledge Fight announced they're doing a tour and they're playing New York City the day before my birthday, and I'm going.
Hell yeah.
What do they do on tour?
Just do like just an episode of
Live
their show.
podcast.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're like the episode that dropped last night. Like I've been like I let like a couple build up and I'll like binge them throughout like the week at work. And last night they dropped a 3+ hour episode on Tucker Carlson interviewing Vladimir Putin. And I was like, all right,
Oh.
I gotta listen to this immediately because I'm sure this is extra stupid. And they immediately start talking about like, oh, we're doing like this little mini tour, because they've played like a couple live shows, like maybe 3 in their like Chicago area, and then they went and did like a couple in like Europe. And I guess a bunch of people were like, why aren't you like playing any shows in the US? And they were like, great question. So they announced they're doing like, I don't know, Boston, Baltimore, New York, Philly, and then like Chicago. And like the entire time they're slowly reading the dates and like getting like sidetracked and stuff. And I was like, shut up. Tell me you're coming anywhere near me. And they were like, May 17th, New York City. And I was like, fuck yes, let's go. So I'm going to that.
I think you should leave us doing a live show here on 420.
Yeah, Shane and I were talking about like both going to the New York City date, and Shane went to buy tickets like when they went on sale, and they sold out in 3 minutes to all
Damn.
fucking bots and shit that immediately started selling over
Of
for like
course.
$3,000. So, not going to that. I'm hoping that like that seems like one of those things that they'll like film one of them and maybe put it online or something. I'm hoping, because I want to see what that's all about. All right. Katie, what are we doing next week?
Are we doing real movies?
Yeah, this is your first
I mean,
pick of like a good.
Okay. I had such a hard time because I had a lot of things that came to mind, but like almost everything I could think of was like a hard 2 hour runtime. And like I cannot take notes on a straight solid 2 hour movie. So I think for my wait, we're all having 2, right?
3.
Oh fuck. Okay, well, two that I definitely think that I want to do is either Frozen or Brain Scan. So what do you guys think?
I mean, just
Brain scan rips.
either one.
Okay. Yeah.
It's also like it's not like you can't do one and then do the other one, your next pick.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, what do I want to do?
2 is less than 3.
first? Yeah, fair. Brain Scan 3 times. Let's just do Brain Scan. It's on Tubi right now, so
Oh yeah. I say Brain Scan. It's so long.
yeah, I think was it last year or the year before last that I saw it for the first time and it like blew my fucking mind. So this will only be my second time watching it. I'm really excited.
All right. So brain scan next week. Kit, that means you got a pick coming up after that. Something good.
All right.
Can't be Ticks though, because it's already gonna be Patreon.
Yeah.
Unless we just do
Deal.
2 episodes on Ticks.
Why not?
Ooh.
All right. If you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/hypesufferpodcast. Like we said earlier, probably going to be a long episode of me yelling at Katie about Twilight. Like, probably.
About how much he loves it
Yep.
and about how it's the greatest franchise that ever
You
existed.
can tell by my letterbox ratings how much I liked it.
The greatest love story ever told.
Not a single fucking baseball game in any of the sequels.
Yeah, that
Boo.
was. I will admit that is a misstep. You know,
If Breaking Dawn Part 2 would have ended with a baseball game instead of that dumbass stare down fake fight, it'd been incredible.
well,
The Voltari just show up in baseball uniforms. Could have been a better movie. Should let me remake Twilight.
I mean, it's rounded. I'm
Who
pretty
agrees?
sure that they are remaking
Yeah,
it
they're
as
doing
a
a TV show.
series.
It should literally
So
just be. It
just-
should just be
Yeah.
like a League of Their Own, but it's vampires.
where they're like traveling around and fighting
That'd be
different
incredible.
creatures in baseball. I mean,
They have to forfeit every day game that they
I don't
play.
know. These ones
Yep.
can go out in the sunlight, so
Not
That's not
direct
good TV
sunlight.
yeah,
though.
fair.
if it's overcast, they can go out. So you just have to be careful about where you're playing. It'll be fine.
Let's see, no storefront here anymore. You can leave us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify.
Rip.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that, but
You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery, Kitrification of Blood. You can follow Katie at Werewolfface. Join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, NK Movie Club. All right, everybody get ready to get their brain scanned.
Yeah.
brain scan.
I hope you heard the name Jagger, but why?
I just feel like I would have noticed. And
They
like,
say it
I
at
was
least
so
once when I think they introduce her, like when they're like kind of like you're like getting introduced to the teens or something. I think one of them says her name, and I was like, weird.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention when they were doing their like party things. I was like, this is so boring. That then when she said it 3 times at the end of the movie, I was very taken aback.
I think like the only reason I remember is it's just like it's not a name you hear
No,
very
well, exactly.
often. I was like, Jagger.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, Jagger. All right. Well, no. Does she live?
R.I.P.
She lives.
I mean, but she was electrocuted.
I wonder if
so
she
who knows
makes
what
it.
kind of
I
life.
wonder if she makes it to Snakehead Swamp, which I assume is a sequel 10 years later.
Mm.
We'll find out at some point. 'Cause I'm sure we'll end up covering that bullshit.
Yeah.